Hi, I'm Timea Presley. Thank you for joining me today. When you say, my hips hurt, what do you exactly mean? Are you able to explain to another person, to your Pilates instructor, to your doctor, more closely so that they can fully understand where the discomfort is? Let's talk about this today. Using the word hip is a little bit tricky when we are trying to communicate an issue that comes up as we exercise. The hips can mean so many different things, and if we look at the anatomical structure of the hip area, there are a couple different things going on. We have the actual hip joint where the head of the thigh bone connects into the hip socket. The hip joint is a part of the pelvic ball that has a front part with the symphysis pubis connecting the two sides of the pelvis in the front, and then a back part with the sacrum in the middle, where the sacroiliac joint connects the sacrum to the pelvis. And then there are all kinds of ligaments and muscles and tendons involved in that whole structure, where discomfort or pain can happen. Also important to mention that the pelvic floor is a sheet of muscles that attaches between the pubic bone, the tailbone, and the two sit bones, and the adductors, inner thighs on the outside. A lot of abductor, outer hip muscles are connecting, so on. So there's really a lot going on. So if you're someone who takes a Pilates session and you try to communicate to your instructor about a hip pain, it's easiest if you point at it with your finger to show if it's in the front, if it's in the back, in the SI joint area, or is it in the hip socket itself that you're sensing. In the recent months, I had a couple different occasions where people mentioned some discomfort about their hips. And initially, I think I misunderstood because of this wide variety of options that is available when we think about the hips. Also, some lower back issues show up as a hip problem. In fact, you might feel the back of the pelvis and the muscles there spasming all the way down into the hip joint or even down your leg. For example, some SI joint dysfunction can show up like this. I had another video about that recently. If you're an instructor and you're working with someone and they mention that they have a hip issue, again, go ahead and investigate. Is it in the hip joint? Is it something that's around the hip joint? Is it the SI joint? Is it the lower back? There are a lot of questions to ask. Really, it's probably a matter of shared vocabulary that we both understand, the Pilates instructor and the client, and the ability to communicate using that vocabulary. But it's really not the client's task to know that vocabulary, but probably our task as instructors to make sure that we understand what you say properly by asking some questions and finding out what you exactly mean when you talk about your hips. I just wanted to bring some awareness to this because it happened to me recently on a couple different occasions that I had to think about it a little longer. So when someone says, my hips hurt, do your investigation and find out what exactly they mean with that. Thank you. I hope this information was helpful. If you're interested in a Pilates teacher training or online or in-person private sessions, please contact me through my website, presleypilates.com. Thanks, and see you next time.